My advocacy project was on the importance of arts in the classroom. So some people might be wondering, why do we need art anyway? Well, the arts help students to develop motor skills. They help with aesthetics and language development. Aesthetics is basically being able to convey why you like something and why something makes you feel the way that it does. The arts help with problem solving, spatial reasoning, cultural awareness, and also help to foster a sense of identity. But what about standardized tests? Well, actually, the No Child Left Behind Act states that the arts are a core academic subject. A lot of people don't realize this. Other high-achieving countries that we normally compare ourselves to actually envy Americans' ability to develop creative thinking and problem-solving skills. Also, many studies show that high-poverty students benefit dramatically from arts education. So here are just a few statistics and a few of the studies that have been done about the benefits of art education. So the Center for Arts Education found that schools with the lowest arts access have the highest dropout rates. There was a Chicago Arts Partnerships and Education program that found that high poverty schools in Chicago that participated made huge strides in closing their achievement gap in standardized test scores within just 1 year. The Maryland school system found that visual arts skills helped improve reading through the Reinventing Arts Education Act. Greater arts education led to fewer disciplinary infractions and higher attendance, graduation rates, and test scores, according to the Missouri Department of Education and the Missouri Alliance for Arts Education. And Johns Hopkins University did studies that also found that arts education helped to improve fluid IQ scores. So what's the bad news? Well, unfortunately, access to arts education opportunities haven't changed in about a decade. And many schools aren't really understanding and grasping the concepts of how the arts and music benefit students, especially in disenfranchised and low-income areas. And that also relates to the programming not being available to students that are of different racial makeups and also English as a second language learners. In 2008, only 47% of students had access to visual arts education, and only 57% had access to music education. And the arts education group finds that this is probably actually a low estimate now, or the estimate could be even lower because this was before the economic collapse, so 2008 was a little bit longer ago. And by the end of this year, more than 25% of public high schools will have completely dismantled their arts education programs. Not to pick on science, but just for an example, federal funding is around $250 million a year, while the National Science Foundation is funded at around the $5 billion mark. So you can see how there is quite a disparity between funding for different programs. What can we do? Well, promote the arts education within your schools. Encourage other teachers to utilize creative problem solving to help students enhance their understanding academically. So maybe collaboration between teachers to help students find a way to learn that might include visual or performing arts. Start conversations, talk to people, ask about the importance of arts in the community. Email or call your senator to ask for support of the Every Child Achieves Act. Seek grant funding and educate yourself. It's really important for people to know and stay up to date on recent legislation and what exactly they can do to help promote the arts in their community. Lastly, a rich and diverse education will help to foster a rich and diverse global society. Just a few ideas to leave you with. This by the U.S. Secretary of Education, Arne Duncan. He said, "To succeed today and in the future, America's children will need to be inventive, resourceful, and imaginative. The best way to foster that creativity is through arts education." And again, one of the most important things that I want everyone to come away with from this presentation is that the focus is not to shift away from focusing on math and literacy, but to be creative and cultural, and that type of education is a complementary ability, not an opposing objective. And lastly, just a nice quote to think about: art has the role in education of helping children become like themselves instead of more like everyone else. Thank you.